Whilst 90% of sneakerheads have been catching L's and crying about missing out on Air Jordan 1 high releases, a select few sneakerheads have been swooping up some underrated sneakers and have been capitalizing on a different type of Air Jordans, and they've been easily making some profit. Here's how. What's going on, you guys? I'm Salvador and welcome back to another video where I talk about sneaker investments, reselling tips, and just basically everything that you need to know on making money on everything, not just sneakers in the modern days. If you enjoy these videos, please make sure to like the videos, subscribe, and stay notified on whenever I upload, because I upload pretty frequently and I'm always pushing out content for you guys as always. And also follow my TikTok at Joshua J Salvador. I post daily TikToks on there, like short form content to give you guys some extra little bit of value each and every day. Without further ado, I'm going to explain to you some cheap Air Jordan 1 sneakers that you should be investing in right now, or you should be buying to flip. And you know what, let's get into it. So obviously the Air Jordan 1 has been one of the most popular sneakers, like recently, within the last couple of years. There's been a ton of collaborations, there's been a ton of amazing colorways that have re-retroed, and yes, is probably one of the most popular colorways and one of the most mainstream sneakers as well. There's a lot of celebrities wearing them, there's a ton of TikTokers wearing them, ton of other people that are getting into sneakers because of all of these influences and because of the aesthetic that the Air Jordan 1 provides to everybody. So that's what makes the Air Jordan 1 so amazing. You don't need to be a sneakerhead to love the sneaker. Basically almost anybody just appreciates the Air Jordan 1. And probably the second closely followed sneaker in this category might be the Nike SB Dunks. Those have been amazing. They've caught a hype wave and I don't see that wave stopping anytime soon. But there have been a ton of releases this year. They've been the Royal Toes, Pine Greens, Court Purples, Mochas especially, and those have been reaching like over $500 in resale prices, and not a lot of people can afford those, even though the retail is pretty low at 230 Australian dollars. Good luck copying them for retail. So people seek the next best alternative, which is going to be the Air Jordan 1 Mid. Now the Air Jordan 1 Mid has been infamous for taking OG colorways of the Air Jordan 1 highs and then reimagining them into budget options, like within an Air Jordan 1 Mid, and then they've been mass produced and supplied to all of the sneakerheads to sort of counteract the demand. So I feel that is consolation prizes from Nike and Jordan brand to everybody else that can't afford the OG colorways of the Air Jordan 1, such as the Breads, Royal Shadows, and then they provide cheaper alternatives that basically give off the same vibe and aesthetic, but obviously without the OG aspects of the sneakers. There have been a ton of releases this year, such as the Chicago 2020 Air Jordan 1 Mids, the Chicago Toes with a little black toe at the end. There have been the Bread 2020s, which I've been a huge fan of, because for me, obviously I'm a firm rocker in the Air Jordan 1 highs. They're basically my grail shoes. Got the Royals, got the Travis Scott ones, and the Pine Greens. I've got a ton of Air Jordan 1 sneakers, but the Bread Air Jordan 1 have been sort of like my grail, besides the Royals, which I already own. But the thing is, they cost over 1,200 Australian dollars here just to buy one, and they're super hard to find. Every time I see a pair on the market, I've been so tempted to cop. But the thing is, sometimes you have to let these pass by. Maybe in the future I'll be able to cop my pair in my size. But that is why, they're so coveted. They demand such a high price that 90% of people probably aren't willing to pay for these sneakers. And especially if you're new into the sneaker game, if you've just been here for a couple months and you just want to try out some sneakers, you don't want to be dropping thousands of dollars on the OG Jordans. You may want a little bit of taste, or you may want to diversify your sneaker collection. You want to build up and build some volume into your sneaker collection. You can't really do that by blowing all of your budget on one sneaker. You want to sort of build up your collection and have a solid and decent rotation. This is where the Air Jordan 1 Mid comes into play, because not only are they cheap, not only are they widely available, but even if they do resell, they resell $10-20 over retail, as soon as they drop. they don't double in price already, and whatnot. So there's that as well. There are certain colorways of the Air Jordan 1 mid that have been slightly limited, and obviously not to the extent of the Air Jordan 1 OGs, but they have been pretty limited, and they have been sort of hard to find and out of stock in retailers such as JD Sports, Foot Locker, Nike, and all that. They actually don't restock. I don't think they've restocked in a while. There's a certain rule in economics where consumers, if they can't get what they want, they seek out the next best alternative. So if they can't buy the Air Jordan 1 Breads, Royal Shadows, if they don't want to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on those sneakers, they seek out the next best alternative for their money and to provide them their most utility or customer satisfaction. So that's where the Air Jordan 1 mid comes into play. They're basically the same aesthetic, especially the band bread 2020 mids. If you compare them to the Air Jordan 1 bread from 2016, the OGs, they almost look identical. If like there's one leather panel, I think you can paint it black. It's currently red. You can customize it, and it even looks like the 2013 pair, where the high cut wasn't really that high. It was sort of like a mid cut, so it kind of looks like those, or like the DMPs. It does give the same aesthetic and vibe. And for me, if you're just new into sneakers, I can't justify like a $1,000 difference between the sneaker. They almost look identical. If you're not about the OG life, if you don't care about the history and the importance of the Air Jordan 1 bread, if you just want something that looks like it, but you don't want to default to buying unauthentic sneakers or fakes or whatever, the Air Jordan 1 mid bread bands are a viable option. So that is going to be the star of the video, because I think that those are going to increase in price over time as people profusely seek a cheaper alternative to one of the most iconic sneakers of the era, the Air Jordan 1 Breads. And as time goes on, those sneakers have just dropped this year, like a couple months ago, so give them time to increase in price. There's been a ton of sneakers that I have personally recommended, and then they have gone in price over time. Most notably the Smoke Ray Air Jordan 1 mids. As soon as the Air Dior's dropped, as soon as the Smoke Rays dropped, I was just like, yo, the Air Jordan 1 mid Smoke Ray, it's an underrated investment. You guys should cop right now. They're going to keep going up. Such an amazing colorway, such a basic colorway. It can be worn with anything, super versatile. I think that they're super underrated and undervalued. They were at the time 200 Australian dollars. Now they're around 500 Australian dollars. Just in a couple of months of me talking about it, they've gone up so much. So I think that with this trend going on, especially with like the Lakers Air Jordan 1 mids, I've seen that those were like $100 when they dropped, or 150 when they dropped. Now they're at $700. The Lakers winning the championship a couple months ago made of being a catalyst to them increasing in price so dramatically. But there are other variables such like that. There's a ton of Air Jordan 1 mids that you can choose from. There's an abundance of colorways that you can choose from, and I do think that the OG colorways reimagined into an Air Jordan 1 mid silhouette, I think that those are the heavy hitters. So you don't want to be buying just any colorway. You want to really think about it. OG colorways that are reimagined into the Air Jordan 1 mid, those always do well. Those will do well for that reason, that they mimic the OG colorways. So random Air Jordan 1 mid colorways that I've seen, I'll stick away from those, because obviously no one cares about that unless you just like the color. But the most common investments that you'll see that a ton of other sneaker resellers have been making to either make a quick flip, so swoop in prices under market, hold them for a couple weeks or a couple months, and then sell them for like twice what they paid. So these underrated investments, if you guys are catching L's on the mainstream hyped up Air Jordan 1 OGs, the highs, maybe it's time to change your direction and then start investing in underrated things that will bring you profit in numbers. There's always power in numbers, you guys. There's going to be a ton of attention on Air Jordan 1 mids within the next year if Nike does keep pushing out colorways that people will enjoy, because I know a ton of you like are budget oriented sneakerheads that can't really afford hundreds and hundreds or near thousands of dollars to spend on one sneaker. So if you guys want to build your sneaker collection, the Air Jordan 1 mid is a viable option. Don't let all of the mainstream sneakerheads tell you any different, like, oh, mids are trash. Just because they're not OG doesn't mean they can't look the same as the OGs or can't be rocked in the same way. It is a nice sneaker, and buy what you like. So this is sort of being a, you know, hand in hand with reselling and also personal wear. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video and, you know, got some use out of it. If you did, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and make sure to go check out the abundance of content that I've been making over the past couple of months and years. And yeah, see you guys next time. Take care. Peace.